I think me and her are the same age.
Ladies, we are. This is our premiere of all of this stuff. So y'all give us a minute. We are.
Oh, you're doing that video and stuff, huh?
All right, you're all set up. So the only thing you need to do when we're done, so it's already going. So we'll just have it. We'll have him connect over there. But when we're done here, all you have to do is end the stream on both. So you'll end the stream here. So you don't need this one anymore. We can minimize that. And then we can have this one open. So whenever you're done, you're just gonna hit end stream down here. And then when you're done here, you'll minimize, click over here, and then hit end stream over here as well, which is right here.
Oh, there's the corner? No,
and that's all you'll have to do.
No.
So you're all connected, so I'm going to call over there and make sure that they have it up.
So we can get this thing the full page here.
So this is as much as you're going to see, so you're just going to see what they're seeing from you.
See, all I can see is, so I gotta get somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
We can move the chair. You want to move that chair?
I think we're gonna be all right like that. I'm not gonna be on the thing.
Is this going to be
I'm gonna try to put it on there.
No.
It's not. Do we need to be connected so we don't?
He'll let you.
Is that better?
Because you might want to take that.
If we can get it moved over so that we can get the play.
There you go.
Everybody sign the sign-in sheet.
If you need me to call me,
One at a time.
I'm going to call Dennis and have him set up.
Okay. Let me know when they're ready over there, and we'll jump off into it. Now we're gonna take a break about in the middle of it.
It's fine. You don't
How
have
you
to
doing?
Can she get her book out of the drawer right here?
Nope. Good.
Oh, she's going to get it for you.
Who wants to? Is your book here in a minute? We got it.
Oh no.
So who needs it?
I have
Amber.
a notebook in there. Yes, thank you.
Notebook. That's a Bible.
Well, that too.
You can't have your Bible doing good.
Okay, that's fine.
Amber, he's since you're moving back to Orange, Bethel Baptist Church on Western Avenue, he's the pastor.
Oh, okay.
We would love to have you, ma'am. Did you move my thing?
I didn't touch it.
You didn't touch it?
I didn't touch it. Yes.
That's fantastic.
I need you to do me one for Kay. Look at that drawer. Catch me a blue pen. Yeah. Please. Please. You know I'll be taking notes. I'll be robbing your notes.
You want a blue pen?
Blue pen.
That?
Yep. Oh yeah. Thank you, sir.
Well, this is our maiden voyage on all of this stuff, so things are going to be just a little bit disjointed and all that stuff, but it's going to be all right. We will. We're going to do stuff like we normally do stuff. It's going to be the same thing, except that we're transmitting over to the other facility, and while we're doing that, we got to be professional and all that stuff because everybody's watching and doing all those kinds of things. So we're waiting right now until Miss what's her name? Sierra tells us that they have us started over on the other.
Mr. Gardner, I leave today.
You leave today.
At noon.
Well, that's some good stuff, huh? You
I
ready?
didn't graduate high school, but I graduated here.
So are you ready?
I know that I can't put nothing in, and that's all I know is right now.
Yeah, and that's what's important. We know that right now, I'm not putting anything in. I'm going to do what I need to do right now. And what's advantageous is that right now turns into something else later on.
Mm-hmm.
It continues on as we go on. So, one day at a time.
Because sometimes I get stressed thinking I can never have a drink in, but I can. So all I can do, I'm not going to think about that. I'm thinking about just right here. And yes, I'm ready to get back to my grandma's.
And see, that's why we do it like we do it, because we think about it. You're fairly young, so, you're going to live another 30, 40 years.
I hope so. I'm 52. I hope so.
Sure. And if you think, hey, I can't have another drink, I can't have anything, I can't do anything for 50, for 30, 40 years.
That's like overwhelming.
That's overwhelming, But if I think I can't have anything just today,
Right now, I'm gonna do today.
I'm just going to do today, and I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. So
And I know today, right now, I can't put anything in because it'll turn it on the switch. It'll turn the switch on this one.
Yeah, and I will tell you this: that knowing me, I can't put anything in forever and ever and ever. I can't do that. So
I'll get to a point one day.
yeah, sure. And I got to that point, and I'm still at that point where it's one day at a time. Sometimes, I mean, it just is.
Like how you eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah, and stress and stuff continues in your life. When you stop using, then that helps you get the stress and the stuff out of your life. But stress and stuff stays in your life, and so you have to deal with the stress and the stuff. And it's best to deal with the stress and the stuff one day at a time. You can't. Deal with it forever and ever and ever on that one day.
Thank you for asking.
Yes, and I'm glad.
I'm ready.
You know where we are over there. You need to come and see us. We need to have you.
You will be seeing me.
Good.
One more thing I want to ask you, just for the girls. Is this going to be every day? You're going to do the broadcast every day?
It's going to be every day. Yes.
Yay!
This is how we're going to do it. But like today, we're doing it. We're doing it live here and broadcasting over to the other unit. Tomorrow, we're going to be live over there and broadcasting here, so we'll be on the smell-o-vision right over there. And we're going to go back and forth like that.
I hope they're paying you double since you're doing double.
They're not paying me exactly double.
But it went up.
This is something you might need to recommend to them.
Just the box. We'll put it in the box.
Since you're working both facilities, I think you need to get double paid.
There you go. Put it in.
We're going to put a grievance form in.
Put it in the box.
That you're not getting paid enough.
Put it in the box. Well, at this point, I'm still waiting for, to find out Miss Sierra. She just left. She left me over here all by myself.
She just left you stranded.
I don't know if I don't know. I'm not sure if we're on over there or not. So
I thought you'd be able to see them, a little box where you can see the classroom over there.
yeah, that would be interesting. It was hard enough for us to get to where we are.
One thing at a time.
So as time goes by, I'm not real techie, but I'm taking a class now to learn IT stuff. I've always had an IT person that worked for me. And so now I'm having to learn some of that IT stuff. So I am now taking classes to do that, and I've learned some stuff. Y'all know what a ribbon is on the computer?
Mm-mm.
I know what it is on a typewriter. I'm not good with computers.
A ribbon.
Yeah, the ribbon on the computer is, where it says home and all of that stuff on your
it's called a
computer.
ribbon.
All of that stuff that runs under there is the ribbon.
Oh.
So, I learned that. So, I'm taking a very basic course right now, and I thought maybe this course is a little bit too basic because it says, this is a computer. Push this button and it comes on.
They start from the basics.
Okay.
Cheryl.
So where did Miss Sierra go? Okay.
You come in with a I said, then you come in with a how you losing?
Yeah, I don't know. I just lost her. She said, I'll be just right back. I'm going to go and make sure everything's in. She was gone. So I'm not sure whether we're on over there or not. So if we are, great. Thank you for all of that stuff. And we're gonna look at some of this real quickly. We are going to do the same thing. Everybody make sure that you're signed in. If you're signed in over here, that's good stuff. But if you're not signed in, you don't sign in on the sheet, you don't get credit. Now, we only have one TAP client right now.
Yes, we're just waiting for the computer to,
We had quite a few, and then now we're down to just one.
She's right here, Miss Sandra.
So,
She's right here.
we're gonna look at our book just a little bit this morning, and we're gonna be on page 38 in the book. And what we're gonna go over for our whole thing today is gonna be on stinking thinking, how that happens, what we need to do to deal with it, and to change some of that stuff. But I'm still.
Waiting. This is the perfect class for Jen.
I am.
Yeah. Just for you, Jen.
That's my phone.
There's my phone. Just looking for it.
It's not. I thought that might be Miss Sierra, but it's not.
San Antonio, I'm trying to That's funny.
And the first time I tried this,
You put the wipe on before.
yeah.
Before the microwave.
That's funny. I put all your stuff there.
I look like a little
And
spider.
And you're not sitting there.
Oh, I know.
That Bible's really pretty. I like that.
Oh shit! What?
That Bible. That's pretty.
Oh, it is. I love. Did you put the tabs or it was
My
there?
mama did it.
Wow.
Tappy tap.
Are you in your mom's house?
So you say you just started the New Testament? So,
Okay.
it's like the same story, but from different people's perspectives.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you'll see it how it's written. Most of it's just treated. It's the same story, but from different people's perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next thing to start with that.
Yeah.
The gospel.
I've read through the whole thing a couple times, and like the first time I did not understand, like really get it.
It's just so strange how things work. Like I've tried to open the Bible and read it so many times, and I just maybe do it or whatever. And now I'm just like,
Yeah. It's easier whenever you're in like a place like this where there's less
All right.
distractions.
So we are set up. We're going, and thank you for being in the group this morning. I appreciate everybody and everybody over at South Point also. And of course, we know this is a no sleeping group.
Yes, sir.
Can't go to sleeping group. Got to pay attention and stuff. And we're going to be talking about distorted thinking. We have our books. And if you do not have a book before the day is over, please let me know. And that goes for both locations. I do know that over at South Point, I saw the supervisor over there making books the other day. So if we don't have books here, I want to know. We'll get a number and we'll let Miss Asia know, and then she'll make sure that you get a book. So here's the deal. What is distorted thinking?
Stinking thing?
Stinking thinking. Yeah, distorted thinking. If we think about distorted thinking, one of the things the very first thing and the big thing that we need to know about distorted thinking, it is something that we call denial, right? When I'm denying that I have a problem, what does that do? It gets me to a place where if I don't believe that I have a problem, then it makes it impossible for me to deal with it. How many people have ever ridden a bicycle or a motorcycle with a low tire?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My wife and I have motorcycles, and we were riding along one day, and she's riding her motorcycle, and she gets slower and slower, and I rode up next to her to see what was going on, and she was pointing at her tire, and her tire was getting lower as she was moving. So she's losing air out of her tire. So what do you have to do if you're losing air out of your tire? Put some more air in it. Figure out why you've lost the air, right? Right? You have to know where the problem is. You have to know what's going on before you can do anything about it. We stopped at a service station, and they actually had some of those old-time patches that you can poke into the tire and fix it. So we were able to do that and fill her tire back up with air, which got her home, and then she wouldn't ride on it anymore, so we had to put a brand new tire on there. But before she knew what the problem was, what was she able to do?
Slow down.
She wasn't able to do much of anything. right? If you don't know what the problem is, or if you're riding along on your bicycle and you look and you see the tire going down, and there's other people on the side of the road saying, hey, you have a flat. Hey, your tire's going down. Hey, your tire's low. But you say, well, no, it's not. I don't have a flat tire. I don't have a low tire. And you deny the problem. You just pretend the problem's not there. Then you can't do anything about the problem, right? So, and that's the same way it is with our distorted thinking when we think. Look at this guy here, obviously, and I don't know if y'all see it over South Point very well. I'm gonna have to get some darker markers, but this person here obviously is a thinker, right? And we all think a lot. Did you know that? When you're going down the highway driving your car, how many decisions do you make in the first few miles? How many would you think? Thousands. You make thousands. You make thousands because you make all these little bitty decisions about how to keep that car in the middle of the road. All these little tiny decisions about where you're going to move your steering wheel, how you're going to touch your gas pedal, and how you're going to touch your brakes, and all of that stuff, so that you can, in fact, not wreck your car and not die. Right? You're making thousands of decisions a month. So we're all thinking all of the time, but sometimes our thinking gets us to a special place. And where's that?
Positive thinking. Complex.
Yeah, sometimes it does get you to a calm place, and that's a good thing, but a lot of times it gets me in trouble. I can overthink something. I can think things the wrong way. I can think things, sometimes I think people are thinking stuff about me. Yeah, and they're not. So you're supposed to go up and ask that person, you thinking of? No, you're not supposed to do that. But here's some things, we're all thinking all the time. So there's a lot of things that we can do with our thinking, our thought processes sometimes. And look, I'm really guilty of this. How many people exaggerate in their thinking? Worst thing that's ever happened in the world. What's that called? It is thinking, and it's called catastrophizing. Yeah, awfulizing is another word we use. If it's, we look at something and say, oh my God, that's going to be awful. And it's not going to be awful. Or this is going to be, I have to go to treatment. That's going to be catastrophe for my life. Yeah, it's catastrophizing. We look at all of that stuff and say, oh my God, I don't know any of those people in there. I don't know any of those counselors in there. I don't know anything. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be terrible. I'm going to fall apart. I'm not going to be able to do it. We exaggerate all the time. What did I just do? I did. I exaggerated. We don't exaggerate all the time, do we? No, we don't. But a lot of the times we'll say that about ourselves. I do that all the time. I'm always late. Are you always late? Not always. You're late sometime, but sometimes you're late to group. I just love it over here when you're late to group, you try to sneak in. I mean, the door right there, we can see you, but we try to sneak in like nobody's going to see me and all of that kind of stuff. But we exaggerate those things and we'll say, I'm always late. See, like, did anybody miss her coming in? We all saw that, right? But we need to get past catastrophizing. We need to wait and let things work out a little bit before we decide how that's going to work out, right? Right? We don't need to be working it out in our minds before it ever happens. A lot of us do that. We awfulize it.
Future tripping. Is that what you're saying? Like,
see, just come in. Right. So we need to be cautious about the fact that we exaggerate some things. Because most of the times those exaggerations tend to be wrong. Because it's not going to be that way. Well, I have a fellow that I know that's going to have a little bit of a surgery on July the 1st. He's going to have a little bit of a surgery. And to us, it's a little bit of a surgery, but to him, it's a big deal because they're going to cut his heart open.
Oh.
And, you know, he's already awfulizing it. He's out looking at tombstones, and, you know, he is. And I'm going, oh, my goodness, dude, you know, you need to wait. This thing, they do this 13 times a day on Tuesdays. So it's not that big a deal. We don't need to awfulize. We don't need to catastrophize. You're going to be fine. So how many? Yeah, he's going to be fat. Yeah, that fly loves me. How many people in here want to go have any type of surgery at all? No, nobody. So we don't want to do it. But even if we don't want to do it, we don't need to exaggerate it. It's going to be all right. You know, sometimes though we do that. Now here's the deal. We're starting today. Last week we went over week 1. And this week we're starting in week 2. And the thing in week 2 is we need to be looking at our thinking. We need to be looking a little bit at our thought processes. I'm going to tell you, you can think yourself into anything you want to. You can think yourself into a thought. Or you can think yourself into a very positive place to be. You know, you can, however you're thinking, that's how you're going to wind up. I used to have a sign in my office, one of my offices, that said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Your thinking has a whole lot to do about it. It has a whole lot to do about who you are, what what you're going to accomplish. You know, everybody in here today in both places are brilliant. I know everybody in both places. And everybody in both places are brilliant. You can read, write, you do great stuff. When you have something to say in the group, it's always magnificent, right? Yeah, for the most, there's a few people who kind of, you know, we're not going to talk about those people. Look, a lot of times, one of the goals of the exercise, this is assignment 4 that we're looking at this morning. And I want to tell you something. If you don't have one of these books, you're going to get a book. And if it's within my power, you're going to get a book today. Okay? Because this is what we're going through, and this is a really good book, and these assignments and stuff are important, and we need to be walking through this book and taking a look at these assignments. Do them on your own if your counselor is going to be leading you through that, and if that's not happening the way that it ought to, do it yourself. You're full grown, take a look at it, do it yourself. This is what I need to do. So in assignment 4, it's correcting distorted thinking. That's exactly what we're talking about, right? My thinking, how do I know my thinking is distorted? I'm an addict. I've used a lot of stuff. My thinking is less distorted now than it was years ago when I was in my addiction. Okay? The use of drugs and alcohol will distort my thinking. I'm going to get out of that because I'm an addict. I still want to use. And my thinking is going to get me to a place where, you know what, I may relapse because I'm thinking distorted stuff like I can use one more time. You know, smoking marijuana is not really a drug, so I can do that. You know, alcohol is legal, right? Socially acceptable. You can get it at HEB. Yeah, you know, I mean, it can't be bad for you, right? And it's got all those vitamins and hops and minerals and all of that kind of stuff that's in there. Is that true?
So you get woozy.
It does have all that stuff in there, but the other thing it has in there is alcohol. So if it's got alcohol in it, that's not going to work for me, right?
Right.
So my distorted thinking will tell me, what is that? That's denial. We get around to a place called denial. I'm denying what's really causing my problem. Right? I've heard it so many times down through the years. You know, I do have problems. I'm not in denial. I do have problems. It's not the alcohol that's doing it, however, but I do. No, that's denial. It is the drug that's doing it. So, it says, look, we need to decrease distorted thinking. And I just love the rest of that. What does it say? Somebody have a book?
Increase the positive self-talk.
And increase positive talking. I need to use positive self-talk about who I am. Right?
Say that again.
See, I need to decrease distorted thinking, and I need to increase positive self-talk. Now, look, what did we say positive self-talk was? The other day we were talking about positive self-talk, and that's not telling a lie about who I am. That's my goal for who I want to be. So when I'm talking about myself, I'm going to be using positive terms about who I am. And if I'm using positive terms about who I am, guess what happens?
Positivity.
I begin to change, and I began to go in that way. I began to go to that direction. Yeah, I began, if I can believe about myself what I say about myself, and I can, then it's important for me to say the right things about myself. Right? I'm sober.
Yep.
I'm going to stay sober. I'm a good father. Yesterday was Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. But you know what I got for Father's Day?
Yeah.
My oldest child, my daughter, texted me about 8:30 in the morning and says, "Happy Father's Day, Dad." That's what I got. Text.
And you got fried chicken.
I ain't get no fried chicken. I got a text, and then we went out and ate some fried food. But, my wife bought me that. My wife bought me some fried food. And I sent a text to my son and said, "Happy Father's Day." And he said, "Thanks."
Well.
He got back with me a few minutes later and said, "Oh, happy Father's Day, Dad." I go, okay. So, but I'm a good father. So you say that about yourself, because that's what I want to be. I'm a good husband. I say those things about myself. I'm a good person. I am not going to do those. Look, I follow the law. I'm not going to speed. I don't speed. I don't fight the police. I don't drink and drive. I don't do those things that are illegal. I say positive good things about myself. And as I say positive good things about myself, then positive good things happen in my life. If I go around saying negative, nasty things about myself, guess what? Negative, nasty things happen in my life. Well, I'm just a drunk. I'll never be able to stay sober. You ever heard anybody say those things?
Yeah, I've said it.
We've got to stop that. We don't need to be doing that. Look, if what I say becomes a reality in my life, I need to say what I want to be a reality in my life. I don't want to be a drunk. I don't want to be this. I'm not. Look, I'm going to be an addict. I'm an addict, but I don't want to be the person that's going to Saturday night every Saturday night. I've had people tell me, "Well, I know I'm going to get another DWI." And say, "Yeah, sure, you are." With that kind of mentality, with that kind of self-talk, you can't help it. So you've got to change. We have